Welcome to your piano lesson. If you're here for the first time, I am Gianluca Fronda. If you want to discover interesting facts about me, you can watch an introduction video of the channel. I'm leaving the link in the description below. If you like the content of my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'm aiming to publish 2 weekly tutorials. Now let's dive into the lesson. Today I want to share with you a rhythm exercise that has been explained a couple of times in some video, but now I want to make a simple tutorial where I talk about it in general, for everybody, not referring to any specific piece. So I am talking about the rhythmic variations. Are 10 fantastic variations that since ages I've always applied to the complicated passages full of semiquavers or of very fast quavers, and that it's so powerful that helps developing the dexterity, the velocity, the strength of these tricky passages. And I've used for all the 10 long and very intense years of preparation for my piano diploma that I've attended in Italy. Today, as an example, I'm using a wonderful book. It is the opera 802 by Czerny. I've never shared with you yet the exercises, the wonderful exercises that are in this book. It's a book that I suggest to everybody that wants to become a real and professional pianist. Daily exercises that take you from the basic 5-finger exercise to super complicated technical ones. Obviously there are the ones by Liszt, by Brahms, that for many are much more exciting than these ones, but I consider Czerny a wonderful teacher. Let's remember that he was Beethoven's pupil and has been the teacher of Franz Liszt. Before proceeding with the examples and the clear explanation of the variations, I want to clarify that the rhythmic variations are very important not only to develop your finger strength, so to add iron, steel, diamonds in your fingers, but also are very important to develop in you the sensation, the feeling of evenness of the notes, of steadiness, because one of the biggest problems that I noticed in all these 30 years of experience teaching piano is that students that have never developed very well the technical skills have problems respecting the evenness of the semiquavers, so of the quadruplets of semiquavers or of the slightly faster quavers. It's constantly limping the effect. So it's a limping rhythm, the one that is generated like da 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 da. These kind of things that for me are almost impossible to show and to explain. So this is the very important aspect of the rhythmic variation. It's double, your fingers and your perception. So something changes in your brain when you study, when you play, when you develop your skills. And for this example, I am going to use, I don't want to use the first ones, I'm going to use this one, this bar. You see, this is simply the exercise number 1, and it's so long. This is the exercise number 2. I am using the one, but just this bar, the first one of the second page. Obviously, it's not enough simply showing the rhythmic variations. It's definitely clever that I write them down for you, and that we try to understand them one by one. I'm using my usual A4. I already wrote once, but I prefer to write them down today, from scratch. So let's write first of all the name of this exercise. It is Rhythmic Variations. That in the future, to make it simple, I will simply express writing RV in case of need in some tutorial. And I said that we have 10 variations. Let's start from the very first one, and then the second immediately. The variation number 1 is a variation where you consider, so you see these are 4 even notes. Imagine that you have 4 quavers. It's valid for everything. But imagine that now you're transforming each of these couples in this way. From being 2 semiquavers, they have to become, in your imagination, to make it simple, we do 1 dotted quaver and 1 semiquaver. You could even say 1 dotted semiquaver and 1 demi-semiquaver, but to make it simple and to simplify also the reading, it's important that the first is 3 times the length of the second. And the second variation will be nothing less, nothing more than the inversion of the first. where we have the first one that is 1/3 of the length of the second, or we can say the opposite. We can say that the second one is 3 times the length of the first. It's nothing less, nothing more than the inversion of this one, of the first. Let's do it in this way. So the passage is played even as it is written, is I'm playing also the C, even though you don't have. You have to imagine that you are going back. Czerny was suggesting to play. Let's read what he was suggesting. Throughout this work, each division enclosed between the signs of repetition must be played at least 10 times. Maybe you start from 2, 3, 4, and then try to reach the amount if you're really willing to study this wonderful opera 802. And now I'm going to play it with the first variation. And it has to be. And I stop on a C. So if you notice, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You can play even separate ends. It's important, anyways, that the first one is the stressed one, and the second one, no. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I maybe add also a sign with an accent. And indeed, let's immediately play the second one. The second one would be 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and so on. We can now discuss the third and the fourth. In the third and the fourth, you consider the first 2 notes like 2 quavers, and the second 2 like they are like 2 semiquavers. It's important that each of the first 2 are twice the length of each of the second 2. In this way. Variation number 3, you do 2 quavers and 2 semiquavers. In the variation number 4, you will simply invert the values. You understood that this is the principle that we are using. Variation number 4, you do first of all the 2 semiquavers and then the 2 quavers. And let's see how they sound. Variation number 3. Or even more. To make it simple, you can do it this way. You can imagine, pay attention, that here now we have generated like a 3/8. If you say 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and same story in the number 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and you are subdividing the quaver in halves. You are counting the 2 hidden semiquavers that are in each quaver. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and same story here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and this is what will help you playing it very well. Let's maybe try with the right hand. So it's the number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 so on. Now playing the number 4 as it is. So the first 2 fast and the second 2 slow. Also remembering that also in this case we might consider the long notes with, let's say, a simple accent. In this way we increase the strength, because the goal, remember, has to be the one of increasing the finger strength of each finger. Also when you study the number 4, you can help yourself counting, doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 following what I've already explained. Now there is an interesting package of 4 variations, the 5, 6, 7 and 8, that are nothing less, nothing more than a transformation of one rhythm, the rhythm of the number 5. What is the number 5? The number 5, pay attention, is the number 5 is exactly this. The first note has to be intended like made of 3 semiquavers. So 2 semiquavers hidden here, 1 here, 3 semiquavers, and 3 visible semiquavers. In this way, anyways, we are respecting the quantity of notes in each block. 1, the first is this one, second, third and fourth. So the first one has to become like a dotted quaver, and the other ones like they are 3 semiquavers. In this way we confirm that we are anyways playing like in a 3/8, where we do 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and the note, the quaver, 2 tied and 3 and we play it in this way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1, and you can carry on. What happened now in the number 6? Quite fascinating. The long note has to be moved. Now the long note will become the second. It's not anymore the first. And we write it in this way. I have a semiquaver at the beginning. Then I have the long note here and the 2 remaining semiquavers. Look. So semiquaver at the beginning. Long note in the middle, that is made of quaver tied to a semiquaver, generating anyways 3, let's say, subdivisions, 3 half counts, 2 in this one, 1 in this. Same story. And you do simply 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 will be in the middle and 3 and. Let's play and show in practice. It would be. And you can carry on. Obviously now the pause will be on the second. You could imagine that anyways you restart from here. So you imagine that it has to be intended in this way. So you start from the end of 3, like, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. It's much better indeed that you intend this one like the end of a bar, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Let's carry on now to the 7th. The 7th obviously will need the big pause now on the 3rd, and you would intend everything in this way. So we have 2 notes at the beginning, 2 long notes at the beginning, the long one in the middle, and 1 more at the end. All written in this way. 2 semiquavers, 1 quaver tied to the semiquaver, and with the last one also semiquaver. You see? We have 1, 2, 3 and 4 notes anyways, same as here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay? And it will sound in practice in this way. Also in this case you have to remember that the big accent has to be at the beginning, here, on the 2nd note in the number 6, on the 3rd note in the number 7. I said that also in this case you can consider it in this way. This is the start of the bar that you are generating in your mind, and you do 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, pause always on the 3rd. 3 and 1 and 2 and 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 so on. Simply take advantage of the example that you consider the easiest one for you. If the one where I simply play, the one where I explain here, the one where I explain here, since everybody is different, I try to explain in all the possible ways. The number 8, obviously you can easily understand that we'll have now the pause on the very last one. So it's all to be intended in this way. Now I do 1 more on top. So the block goes from the last of the first block up to the 3rd of the following. Okay? In this way we have all of them quite well spotted. So we have now 3 notes at the beginning, as you can easily understand, and the long note is at the end. So semiquaver, semiquaver, semiquaver. So this is the way it looks like the number 8, variation number 8. We have 3 semiquavers at the beginning, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th, that is nothing less, nothing more than the long note that we had here at the beginning, here at the 2nd place, here at the 3rd place, here at the 4th. And we add also the accent. It will sound in this way. And so on, you can carry on, yeah? So also in this case you imagine that it all starts here, with the last, and obviously it would be for you like and 3 and 1 and 2 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 and so on. The last two variations, so we can maybe close these ones also in a small block, yeah, it's the block of the four tricky ones. Then we have these ones that are part of the same identical typology, inverting every single time, and we have the last block of two, number 9 and number 10, the easiest one, where you consider the first four like 4 quavers and the last four like 4 semiquavers. So 4 long notes and 4 short notes. Indeed, for example, the first and the second is considering the single couple, 2 notes. The third and the fourth are anyways considering the whole quadruplet of semiquavers, transforming it. Same story, the number 5, 6, 7 and 8 considering the block of 4. The number 9 and 10 are considering 2 blocks to be completed. The number 10, as you can easily understand, will be the inversion, where we have first of all the 4 semiquavers and then the 4 quavers. The number 9 first. Obviously the speed can vary according to the level, from very slow or to very fast, depending on your level. But it's important that you remember that the length of each of them has to be twice the length of the following ones, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and, yeah? Or considering it like in a big 3, 4, like 1A and A, 2A and A, 3A and A, 1A and A, 2A and A, 3A and A. It depends how you want to count, but simply take probably advantage of my example. And now the number 10, that is the inversion. Like 1A and A, 2A and A, 3A and A, 1A and A, 2A and A, 3A and A. Remember also that you have to increase the strength, finger strength. This is the big goal of these exercises. Imagine that these ones have all of them accent. One thing that never came out of my tutorials is that it's very important for you, and these are things that I will obviously start sharing step by step. It's important that you use the fingers properly. Have you noticed that my fingers are always curved and strong, and this point, this joint, is never bent in this way? 9 students out of 10, I want to be kind, sometimes I would even say 99 out of 100 are using the fingers in this way. This is what has to be done. Unfortunately today, many times, also in my case, due to the big pressure that we receive from parents that needs the students to attend the grades as soon as possible, they want to learn fast, nobody's spending time talking about the way the fingers have to be used. Let's remember that this is a discipline that is developed using fingers, and the fingers have to be strong, same as are strong your legs. And this is a very important thing to keep in mind. Please don't dislike teachers that are teaching you how to develop properly your fingers. If you want to play for real, if you want to really become a good professional musician, or even if you want to play for fun but very well, not having constantly obstacles, facing walls, because the problem is that if you don't develop your fingers, you can do something, but not that much. And this is something that has to be accepted in this world where we are trying to sell everything quickly. Also music became fast food. We have to be careful. And this is my personal advice. Love the teachers that are helping you developing your skills for real. But entirely. I hope you have appreciated this tutorial. Let me know if you understood everything. If you're applying these very interesting rhythm exercise, these rhythmic variations. If it's the first time you're landing on my channel thanks to this video, don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next one. All the best.